Next up at UFC Vegas 78, we have Josh Parisian taking on Martin Buday. Josh Parisian, 15-6 overall, 2-3 in his last 5. He is alternating wins and losses. He's taking on Martin Buday. What are you doing? Relax. What's in your hand?
I always have something in my hand when I have it. I hold this the entire stream too.
I bet you do. He's taking on Martin Buday, 12-1 overall, 5-0 in his last 5. He is riding an 11-fight win streak. Josh Parisian, high volume guy. He does have 10 knockouts under his belt, but he's not like a big one punch. You're going to see heavyweight. You're going to see 10 knockouts. Not really. He's going to come forward. Tons of volume. There's a little bit of power there, but he's not flatlining people in one single punch. Lots of volume. And later in the fight, he'll slow down a little bit, but the volume will still be there. He's just not nearly as dangerous as he is early. He's taking on Martin Buday. This guy is a powerful striker. He does have heavy hands. He also has 10 stoppage wins, but he is riding a couple of decisions, right? He's a couple decisions in a row here, but he can be hittable. He has a negative striking differential. He's a little bit of a slow starter, and he landed 25% more strikes in his last fight. And that's important here because Martin Buday does have volume once he gets his hands going, right? First round, he might give up. Second round, once he starts moving. Third round, once he starts moving, he gets his hands going. He puts out the volume. So I really like Martin Buday here. The line is closing on itself, and I get it. This is one of those weird fights where the longer I stare at it, the more I convince myself the other side. I was very, very confident in Martin Buday. Then I just keep looking at it. I'm like, well, Josh is just going to come forward. He's going to throw a million punches, and volume might do it. And Martin looked like shit in a couple of those wins. Like, it's not 12-1's a little bit deceiving. Like, that one fight, he probably shouldn't have won at all. So I'm starting to freak myself out for no reason at all. But I still think Martin Buday is going to win. He's still going to be the pick. But the more I look at this, and the more I'm like, man, if Josh Parisian is just tough and busy, he could win this fight, especially with Martin just giving up first rounds. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I don't really care about this fight. Somebody in the chat said, serious question. I'm 32, 6'7", and walk around at 210 pounds and can cut to middleweight. Recently started training, and in just 2 weeks, I'm out sparring guys who have trained for 2 years. If I train full-time starting in a few months, do you think there's a chance I could get to the UFC? And Daniel says, you have no chance, James. It just shattered his dreams inside of 30 seconds. I don't know why that was so funny. But, yeah, when it comes back to this fight, this is going to be like, when I'm streaming, it's going to be like, Jesus Christ. I mean, this is going to be sloppy. It's going to be messy. Martin Buday should be able to out-tough him, and that's all it comes down to. I think that Martin Buday is one of the worst 12-1 fighters I've ever seen in my entire life, but he should be better than Josh in this matchup. This is quick and to the point. I'm taking Buday, but I don't trust him with anything. So,
I mean, they both have negative striking differentials. They both have very high volume for heavyweights. Like, it is definitely a man. I regret some decisions I've made with Martin Buday, but I still think he should be able. I still think he should be able to get it done because
it should be. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to be not too mean, but because he's our heavyweight, you know what I mean? But if he loses this fight to Josh Parisian, and I'm not saying if he loses it like a sloppy decision, that would not surprise me at all, right? Because I mean, it's not like Martin Buday is like this crazy volume guy, but if he comes in and loses like inside the distance to Josh Parisian, it's like, Jesus.
I hear you. We got 7,400 in DraftKings, 8,800 in DraftKings. Full fade on both of those because especially Martin's last couple of fights, all decisions. Josh Parisian's a decision guy. You can get some volume out of Josh. He actually can score okay. But, heavyweights in DraftKings when there's not a stoppage upside, really not that worth it. So I'm going to fade them in DraftKings. But if you do want our full DraftKings analysis, including our DraftKings optimizer and quite literally the best DraftKings ownership projections in the game, just go to wewantpicks.com, click become a member. It's $10 a month, and you're going to get all that. You're going to get everything. There are massive websites like Awesemo and Roto Grinders charging 5 to 10 times that amount of money just for the optimizer and the ownership projections. That's included along with everything else we do. Wewantpicks.com.
I didn't even know we had a premium service.
Become a member. We do. We're, and actually, if you mentioned Brazil, I'll give you some of that money if you want to go to Brazil. I'll give you $3 for every 10. We can do that.
Oh.
That'd be nice, right?
Well, I don't know.
I would be happy to not give you that money. Is this an official declining of the money? Because I'd be happy not to, frankly. I told you school supplies are $60. Okay? You know what daycare is? $1,300 a month for my one kid to go to daycare. One kid, $1,300 a month.
I would just stay home by myself when I was a kid.
And now you're afraid to go outside.
Not afraid. Don't need to. Got everything I need here.
Okay. Sounds a little scared.